It looks like we have two different functions and seven different problems to tackle. So let's tackle one by one. Okay, the first function is fx, x squared minus 3x minus 28. And the second function looks very similar, but the only difference is it's plus instead of minus. X squared plus 3x minus 28. Now, the first problem says to solve this equation. So what is our fx? Fx is x squared minus 3x minus 28. And we're going to make it equal to 0. And this can be factored actually, because 4 times 7, they multiply to be 28, but we have to make it negative 28. So let's make this one negative so that they will add up to negative 3, because that's what we want. So if I factor that, it will be x plus 4 and x minus 7 equals 0. So we know x equals negative 4 and x equals 7. Those are the solutions for A. And if we move on to B, we have to solve for gx equals 0. Now, gx is x squared plus 3x minus 28 and make it equal to 0. Now, this factors similar. It becomes 4 and 7, but let's make this one negative so that they add up to positive 3. So it'll be factored as x minus 4 and x plus 7 equals 0. Now x equals 4 and x equals negative 7. And these are the solutions for B. Now, C is asking you to solve fx equals gx. So we're going to simply put these two equal to each other. So C will look like x squared minus 3x minus 28. And that's equal to gx, which is x squared plus 3x minus 28. Now, you can subtract x squared from both sides. And if we put these two together on the right side, it will be 6x. And if we put these two together, they will cancel each other. So it will be 0. That means x equals 0. So that's the solution for C. Now if we move on to D, it's asking you inequality this time. So x squared minus 3x minus 28, which is fx, has to be greater than 0. We factor this again, and it's going to be the same factoring as this one. So x plus 4 and x minus 7 is greater than 0. When quadratic function is greater than 0, it's two separate inequalities. One is x is greater than x is greater than, excuse me. Oh, or we can use number line here like this. The solution, the critical point is going to be negative 4 and 7. And if it's greater than 0, it's going to be either smaller than negative 4 or greater than positive 7. And it's non-inclusive, so we leave the holes open instead of filled in. So the solution will be x is greater than 7 or x is smaller than negative 4. Now, if we move on to, that was D, by the way. And if we move on to E, that's gx is smaller or equal to 0. So gx is x squared plus 3x minus 28 if you make it smaller or equal to 0. And we can factor this as the same thing as this one. That's going to be x minus 4, x plus 7, and that's smaller or equal to 0. Now, when quadratic inequality is smaller than 0, then if you put that on the number line, it's going to look like this. 4 is here, and negative 7 is here. Now, it's going to be inclusive, so we're going to fill this in and fill that in, and we shade what's in the middle when it's smaller. Again, if it's greater, then we shade outside. If it's smaller, it becomes sandwiched between the two critical numbers. So if we write out the solution, it's going to be x is between negative 7 and positive 4 inclusive. So that's the solution. So that solution for D is this one, and solution for E is this one. If we move on to F, it's telling you to find where fx is greater than gx. So let's substitute fx, which is x squared. By the way, we're doing f right now. X squared is fx is x squared minus 3x minus 28, and they said it is greater than gx. So greater than gx, which is this one, x squared plus 3x minus 28. As you can see, we can subtract x squared from both sides, and that does not change the inequality direction. And if we move this to this one, it will be 6x. Now, if we move this one to this one, then it will be canceled. It will be 0. So here we can see x. Actually, you can divide both sides by 6. Then right side will be x, and the left side will be 0. And that's the solution for f. Finally, if we solve for fx here, the solution for g will be fx is greater than or equal to 2. So fx is x squared minus 3x minus 28, and that's greater than or equal to 2. And that's going to be x squared minus 3x. And if you subtract 2 from both sides, it will be minus 30. Right? And this can't really be factored clearly. So you have to use quadratic function. The quadratic function looks like x squared minus x equals negative b plus minus root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So what is our x? X is going to be negative b, which is negative of negative 3, which is positive 3, plus minus root b squared is negative 3 squared, which is 9, minus 4 times a is 1, times c, which is negative 30. All over 2a, so it's 2 times 1. And if we move on, it'll be 3 plus minus 9, and minus negative is positive, so it'll be 4 times 30, which is 120. So over 2, that's going to be 3 plus minus root 129 all over 2. Now, the solution is going to be 3 minus root 129 over 2, and the solution would be 3 plus root 129 over 2. So x is going to be either smaller than the smaller solution, or it'll be greater than the greater solution. And that's going to be the answer for G.